Same.
Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, be on the lookout for my interview with Luke Wilson that will drop on your feeds on Monday as well. Great kid. He was Oklahoma's 2027 offensive tackle commit that dropped late last week. Had a chance to sit down with him and just talk about his recruitment and all that. So be on the lookout for that bonus episode coming to your feeds on Locked On Sooners. But Jay, defensive scrimmage notes, what stood out to you the most that we were hearing all weekend?
So kind of like in the first segment, the fact that the defense adjusted and took over. That's a big deal. That's kind of what you want to happen. You want your defense to win more of the matchups than your offense. Mainly because they got a kind of a quote unquote unfair advantage. They kind of know what's going to happen anyway, right? They understand how and what's going on with your offense. They know kind of the sets. They understand what to look for with certain players. They know their teammates' tendencies. So you kind of expect them to have that unfair advantage on that. Plus, they got Brent Venables, who should know and is prepared to go up against that defense because Kevin Wilson ran one similar to what Ben Arbuckle does. So that's kind of what you would expect. The good thing is that the edges were just dominant, John. They were out there kicking tail. So, our Mason Thomas, Marvin Jones Jr., Taylor Wine, Danny Okoye, cooking, just like you're expecting. Sounds like we're in a good position.
Yeah, interesting is we're starting to hear more Danny Okoye buzz. Like Miguel Chavis made mention of him late last week. Sounds like he carried that over into the scrimmage, and he's beating the drum. Like there's a consistent pattern with Danny Okoye that is trending in the right direction. We know he's an athletic freak. I mean, Brent Venables mentioned he's maybe the most athletic player on the team. If he can figure everything else out, he's going to be a really, really, really good player because he's fast, he's physical, he's athletic. It's just a matter of getting the nuances of the Brent Venables defense down. And if you can do that, the sky is the limit for the kid. And I mean, he's probably going to factor into that 4-man rotation at defensive end. How many snaps he gets we'll see. I mean, a lot of that's going to be up for debate and up for competition throughout the season, but sounds like things are trending in a really positive direction for him at defensive tackle. Continue to hear nothing but positive things. That group is just really, really stinking good.
Yeah, it just is. That's just the thing, is that you expected him to be good. We knew this offensive line is trying to build up some quote unquote experience together. And the good thing interior wise is basically the same dudes, EPL, Troy Everett, Fabichi Wewu, same dudes been working together. You're getting some experience for Ryan Fogier. You're getting Hito Zaida back out there after that shoulder deal. But they're probably your stronger units. It's more your tackles that if there's any type of concerns, that's probably it. But they're the ones that they're dealing with the bodies that are falling. So, of course, the veterans are going to go out there and cook the young players. It's kind of what you expect. If they don't, then we really have some problems. Like, we can't be talking about having one of the best defensive lines if we're not able to actually be the best defensive line against our, second and third string tackles. So, point being, that's what you're hoping for. Now, secondary wise, I heard linebackers and in the cheetah role, Powers and Kendal Daniels are making some statements. Mm-hmm. There's a good chance you're going to see Kendal Daniels floating all over the place. He's a giant human being just in general. I mean, he's a legitimate 6'5", 245-pound dude. Like, he's big. Like, he's bigger than Deshaun McCullough was. And McCullough was a giant person, but he wasn't very thick. He was more slim, hence why he went by the moniker of Slim. Kendal Daniels is a big, thick dude, but he's fast enough to play not only safety, but linebacker and edge. And so him with Reggie Powers, to me, and we text about this, John, put both of them on the field and let the offenses figure out where they're at. Who's doing what? and make them just get confused. And I would just love that.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Powers III, he's an athletic player. He can play both safety and cheetah. He can play single high if you want him to. He can play down in the box if you want him to. I think with him, Robert Spears-Jennings, Kendal Daniels, you have a really intriguing trio that you can mix and match in a lot of different ways. And in particular, depending on what you're seeing from the other offense, like if it's an offense that doesn't have this big high octane passing attack, you might go a little bit heavier and try to slow, like against Michigan. Michigan's going to want to run and pound it and ground and pound it. That's what they're going to want to do. And you might be better suited going with the look of Kendal Daniels, Robert Spears-Jennings, and Reggie Powers III in your safety cheetah trio than you might be with Peyton Bowen in the mix in there. But against teams like LSU, you might want somebody that has a little bit more coverage skills. We'll just see. But it wouldn't surprise me to see that be your trio on a number of occasions because it's athletic, it's physical, and it's fast. And Oklahoma wants to be all three of those things, and they bring it every time they're on the field.
That's what's most important, is that they're bringing it. And so, and I was talking to, me and Coop were talking about this a little bit. Something that's intriguing to me, John, is, of course, our biggest question mark on this team is the secondary. But as you're seeing the propaganda come out, one thing that we're seeing a lot of, we're hearing about Devon Jordan. It sounds like he's starting to step up and become a threat out there. We know Kendal Dobie's coming back healthy and he's going to be good. But even with that, J.J. Newcomb, you're starting to see some of the propaganda come out for him. That's 3 more dudes at the corner spot that could play with Gentry, who sounds like he's healthy and he's ready to go, especially while we're waiting for Eli Bowen to play. That room could be the one that gives us similar to 2023 vibes of, we don't know what we got here, and then they show up like, oh, wait, y'all are actually pretty darn good. Yeah. Our big question is what coverage looks like. Like Jacoby Johnson, super athletic, just can't stay on his feet last year. He stays on his feet this year. He could be a threat out there playing at the corner spot. But you know Robert Spears-Jennings is going to bring it. Reggie Powers, Jaden Hardy, as well as Michael Boganowski in your safeties. Your safety room is good. Peyton Bowen, we're waiting to see if we get the healthy version of him. Like you said, an athletic coverage guy. But there's a good chance that corner room shocks us, especially if we're hearing about Devon Jordan, J.J. Newcomb, and Cortland Guillory showing out. We could even have another freshman All-American. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to completely write off Eli Bowen, but if he's not healthy to start the season and your corners are looking good, it's no guarantee that he's going to step right back into the starting lineup. You know,
exactly.
There's a lot of competition, and what's intriguing about this is that room is a homegrown room.
Exactly.
Like Jay Valai has been recruiting this group, and now it's kind of the time. Like he's not relying on transfers. He's not relying on guys that, you know, were veterans like a Woody Washington that were here before he got here. No, like every single guy that's going to get significant playing time is a guy that he's recruited. It's kind of like I'm going out on my shield moment for Jay Valai right now. It's like either on my shield or with it from the 300. And these guys seem to be stepping up and really showing out right now. That's really exciting to consider, knowing that cornerback has been a big question mark for Oklahoma. So if we think that Gentry and Jacoby and Cortland and Jeremiah Newcomb and Devon Jordan, that group of 5 right there is playing good ball right now, and it sounds like they are, and then you have an Eli Bowen that's going to get healthy and get back into the mix, that's super intriguing. And then you never know what they're going to do with Kendal Dolby. He could play anywhere. And, I mean, I don't want to say there's not enough snaps to go around, but at some point there might not be enough snaps to go around in the secondary.
The question is, I'm curious to how many snaps a lot of these players get. I wonder how many rotations are we going to actually go through? How often will Jay Valai and Brent Venables look at swapping people around? That is what I'm the most intrigued about, is what those rotations look like, because you're right. There's not going to be enough snaps for everybody. But if somebody's standing out, you kind of got to play him. I want to see Cortland if he shows you he that dude when you play against Michigan. Put him in the game. Keep him in the game.
Well, and you're going to get a big test in the first half of the season against a really good Auburn wide receiver core, and then against Texas as well. So the first half of the season is going to be really indicative of what this cornerback group looks like. I don't know if we'll get a full indication against Michigan. We certainly won't against, Illinois State, Temple, and Kent State. But I think, after the Texas game, we'll pretty well know what this cornerback group is capable of. The Oklahoma Sooners are getting a lot of buzz this offseason, and it's not really slowing down. The hype train continues as one SEC network analyst continues to rave about the Sooners. Coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.